The fact is, works by male artists dominate most of the world's museums, but not the one that just reopened in the nation's capital. Rita Braver offers us a preview.
It's been more than 2 years and almost $70 million. But at long last, the National Museum of Women in the Arts in Washington is relaunching.
It's a great hall, but I never realized how much we could transform the space.
And as museum director Susan Fisher Sterling explains, when this museum opened in 1987, it was the first in the world devoted exclusively to art made by women. An independent nonprofit organization, it was the vision of one woman.
Wilhelmina Cole Holliday was a philanthropist and collector here in Washington, D.C. She had studied art history, and she was very much interested in the concept of beauty, which she talked about all the time.
Sterling says that on a trip to Europe in the 1970s with her husband Wallace, Wilhelmina Holliday became fascinated by the work of 16th century Flemish painter Clara Peters and wanted to learn more about her. But when Mrs. Holliday returned home,
she could not find Clara Peters. And what she realized also was there was not a single woman artist in that history textbook that was used across every university in the U.S. at the time.
So the Hollidays started collecting works made by women, eventually joining with other like-minded enthusiasts to purchase this then-abandoned building that had once been the D.C. headquarters of the Masons, where, ironically, women were not allowed. And the museum was controversial from the start.
Because men critics didn't like the fact that there was such a museum, and the same could be said for many men artists. But also it was controversial because sometimes women felt that they didn't want to be segregated in a museum just for women. I think we've essentially beat that rap, if you will.
In a sense, this place raised the profile of women artists.
Yes.
Has it ever?
This is a group of selections from our collection. We have about 6,000 objects.
6,000, wow.
6,000.
Curator Catherine Watt showed us around newly imagined galleries, brighter, airier, and brimming with stunning works like Young Woman in Mauve by Impressionist painter Berthe Morisot, who's often received less attention than her male counterparts. And take this piece called The Springs by Expressionist Lee Krasner. You know, if she's named, she's just called Jackson Pollock's wife.
Correct.
What's wrong with that?
Everything's wrong with that because Krasner was as talented as her very famous husband. You see these sort of beautiful brush strokes, sort of grasses waving. You can imagine sort of any natural scene.
Today, the museum is packed with works by women who've gained international renown, including photographers Berenice Abbott and Mary Ellen Mark, painters Georgia O'Keeffe and Amy Sherald, potter Maria Martinez, multimedia artists Judy Chicago and Nikki DeSanfal.
It's wonderful to come into the space and know that all of this work is made by women, and it's just really incredible to see the breadth of the work.
Allison Saar makes prints and sculptures that focus on her biracial background and much more.
I'm very interested in women and their lives and how we function within the world and even within our own world.
Ta-da!
Oh, yay! There she is. Fantastic.
We were with Saar when she had her very first look at how her recent sculpture, Undone, is now on display. There's this elegant woman, and she has this lovely dress, and behind this dress are all of these bottles that are closed up.
You know, women were never given the opportunity to be who they wanted to be.
So these are ideas
that dreams,
didn't get made and maybe never will.
Yeah, that maybe never will. I mean, they're still there. I don't want to be too dark, but you know, yeah, so it's just a reality.
This sculpture exhibit called The Sky is the Limit features works like Lady of Commerce by Reena Banjeri, an American born in Calcutta, India.
It's about colonialism and the impact of colonialism in terms of history. What are the forces that are driving business? What are the forces that drive politics?
In fact, over the years, gender politics and protests by women artists have helped make a difference. And suddenly we are seeing women artists in major museums around the country.
Yes.
So do you really still need a place like this?
Oh, I think so, because I think this museum for almost the past 40 years has had a tremendous impact in getting that conversation going and keeping it going. So while we're thrilled that other arts institutions are now picking up the mantle with us, we all need to keep the effort moving forward. There's a lot of work to be done.